The bridge he almost burned. Ethan Morales grew up in the small riverside town of Montclair. Life there was slow, predictable, and safe, exactly what his parents had wanted for him. But Ethan had a restless heart. From a young age, he loved climbing, running, and challenging himself. While other kids played video games or hung around the park, Ethan sought adventure, the tallest trees, the steepest hills, the rushing riverbanks. When he turned 14, Ethan discovered rock climbing at a local gym. It wasn't much, just a few walls and ropes, but it was enough to spark a fire he couldn't ignore. He loved the feeling of reaching for the next hold, balancing, testing his strength, and confronting fear directly. By 16, he knew he wanted to become a professional climber. His first major attempt at a climbing competition ended disastrously. Halfway up the wall, his hand slipped, and he fell. Hard. Pain shot through his arm and shoulder. He hit the mat and lay there, stunned, as his peers watched in silence. Humiliation, shame, and fear crashed over him. He wanted to quit right then and there. For weeks, Ethan avoided the gym. Every time he passed it, he remembered the fall, the way he had tumbled, the look on others' faces, the echo of his own doubt. He began to question himself. Was he reckless? Was he foolish? Maybe he wasn't cut out for this at all. One evening, alone in his room, Ethan opened his climbing journal, a worn notebook filled with sketches, goals, and notes he had written when he first discovered the sport. Among the pages, he found a quote he had jotted down years ago: "A river cuts through rock not because of its strength, but because of persistence." Something clicked. Failure wasn't an end, it was a guide. His fall had shown him weaknesses he needed to work on: grip strength, technique, and mental focus. It wasn't a verdict, it was a lesson. Ethan returned to the gym with a new mindset. He trained with patience, focusing on technique, balance, and endurance rather than speed. Every slip became a teacher. Every bruise taught him caution. Every failed attempt strengthened his resolve. Slowly, he grew, not just as a climber, but as someone who could confront fear without letting it define him. By the time he was 18, Ethan was ready for a national competition. The wall he faced was massive, taller and more complex than anything he had tried before. As he began to climb, memories of past failures, his first fall, the bruises, the self-doubt, surfaced. But instead of fear, he felt gratitude. Those failures had taught him what he needed to know. Halfway up, his grip faltered. He slid, heart racing, but this time he caught himself, adjusted his balance, and kept climbing. The crowd watched in awe as he reached the top, victorious. Ethan's triumph wasn't just about conquering the wall, it was about mastering himself, understanding that failure had been his greatest teacher. Years later, Ethan returned to Montclair and opened a small climbing school. He taught young kids not just about technique, but about courage, resilience, and learning from mistakes. He shared his story: every fall is a lesson. Every mistake is a step forward. Don't fear failure, study it, embrace it, and let it guide you. Looking back, Ethan realized that his first humiliating fall had been the most valuable moment of his life. It had taught him persistence, patience, and humility. It had forced him to grow in ways comfort never could. Failure, he knew, was not an enemy, it was the bridge between who he was and who he could become. And for Ethan Morales, every fall became a step toward flight.